Brace yourself this winter because experts say homeowners can expect double-digit increases in their heating bills. This is why I use the new mini space heater in my home and absolutely love how quickly it makes my home toasty warm without raising my heating bills. It's compact but strong enough to warm up my bedroom, living room, office, or anywhere else I need nearly instant warmth. Plus, it includes built-in overheat protection and adjustable heat levels from gentle warmth to toasty comfort. Do yourself a favor and grab one up to 60% off this holiday season only at www.staywarmnow.com. Plus, order today and you'll receive free expedited shipping, a 60-day satisfaction guarantee, and several other free bonuses. Once again, that's www.staywarmnow.com. Give the gift of warmth this holiday season. Yesterday, I neglected to give a very important interpretation of this famous Bible verse I put up from Isaiah 9:6. I learned this from J.R. Church, the head of Prophecy in the News fame, who is now deceased. This prophecy was written about 2,700 years ago. It is important and definitive because Damascus, Syria is, according to J.R. Church, the only major city in the Middle East which has never seen a destruction. And the destruction of Damascus must presage the return of Christ. Hundreds of totalitarian dictatorships have risen and fallen since Isaiah's time, including the latest, the Obama-Biden coup, which lasted for a mere blip of time. Trump will be able to repair much of the damage to the republic in his second and last term as president, and there are many Trump-like replacements maturing just off stage. But Trump's opinions will be important as long as he lives. After the growing communist influence of the past 2 decades, the United States has begun to turn back to first principles as articulated in the Constitution, thanks to the huge expenditure of blood and treasure of Trump and Elon Musk. As a result, Trump must go down in history as one of America's top 3 presidents for this heroic and determined pro-American stand. Obama was a teacher at the University of Chicago of the most destructive of all communist theories to take America by storm, which came out of Saul Alinsky's book, Rules for Radicals, detailing what techniques the left could use to get power. The most dangerous of these is the concept of projection. Fox and Friends hosts Will Cain, Rachel Campos Duffy, and Charlie Kirk this morning had a brilliant discussion on Obama's effective use of projection as one of the most effective elements of his malign influence over American politics.
One of the lessons I think we've come to understand, I hope that everyone has come to understand, is the power of projection.
Yes.
Accuse your opponent of the sins which you're committing. President Obama gave us, former President Obama, gave us another example of projection Thursday night in Chicago. He gave a speech where he talked about the weaponization of government and the polarization of your opponent, the polarization of America. Let's listen to the words of former President Obama.
Since total victory is impossible in a country politically split down the middle, the result is a doom loop of government gridlock, even greater polarization. When I mentioned to a few friends that our foundation would be hosting a forum on democracy and pluralism, I got more than a few groans and eye rolls, especially since, as far as they were concerned, the election proved that democracy is pretty far down on people's priority list. There are going to be times, potentially, when one side tries to stack the deck and lock in a permanent grip on power, either by actively suppressing votes or politicizing the armed forces or using the judiciary, the criminal justice system to go after opponents.
That, my friends, is projection.
That is amazing, actually. So it's intentional. I mean, this isn't just some tick or something that just popped into his head because he's bummed out that they lost the election so bad. I mean, people need to understand Barack Obama has been a really negative force on this country and on politics and creating so much division. That comes from Saul Alinsky. People forget Barack Obama was teaching rules for radicals. He was teaching about Saul Alinsky at the University of Chicago. That is a hero to him. And one of his rules, among many, that was meant to basically dismantle society and bring about this, liberal utopia. One of them was how to attack your enemy. And Saul Alinsky, took his lessons from Lucifer, actually. Like, he talked about that being somebody who could teach them how to take power and control. And here's Barack Obama, Charlie, I think, really kind of going, he's in a bad spot.
Yeah.
He created this. He thought it was going to become this permanent power base for him. And now he's accusing the right of what he did because he's just super bummed out right now.
Yeah, and it is total projection. It's also desperation. That's the thing that is so striking to me about that entire, all those remarks that he made, that entire speech or whatever it was the depth of he's very bitter. That's not the Barack Obama who gave that speech in 2004. Even if you didn't agree with him and didn't like him and didn't agree with his policy prescriptions, it's a different guy than he was when he gave that speech in 2004 or when he won that election in 2008.
Doubt.
He is a deeply bitter, angry guy, and he's talking about how voters don't care about democracy.
Hope and change has turned into dour and bitter.
Yeah. Bitter and
Really
projectionism.
And I would say, and while he's projecting, he's not just projecting that which we all know at this point, which is the Department of Justice was weaponized under Joe Biden. There was a consolidation of permanent Washington under Joe Biden. What we should also point out is it all began under Barack Obama.
Yes. Yep.
That is when, for example, he spied on a Fox News reporter. That is when Lois Lerner targeted conservatives with the IRS. That is when much of this began and was just extrapolated under the presidency of Joe Biden.
Yeah. And then they also under Barack Obama and then metastasized under Joe Biden, which, many people believe that administration was being run out of Obama's mansion in Colorado, Washington, D.C. But that said, I mean, the censorship industrial complex that was used to also consolidate that power is something else. And that's one of the things that people were really voting against, along with the weaponization of the government, this idea that it could be used to censor us and therefore allow them to consolidate power. Barack Obama is very isolated right now. Even his best friend, George Clooney, who wrote the op-ed that ended up pushing out Joe Biden, is now upset at Barack Obama, going, hey, you told me to write that op-ed. Now everyone's blaming me online. Where are you, Barack Obama? Barack Obama's becoming, he's not used to not being glorified. And this is an interesting moment for him.
Yeah, and meanwhile, across the aisle, you have Donald Trump, who has taken over the mantle of sort of occupying the broad center of American public opinion on things like illegal immigration, to the point where you even have New York City's mayor, Eric Adams, who has previously supported sanctuary cities, so he can't be let off the hook entirely. But he's open to the idea that Donald Trump and Republicans might very well have some solutions to solve the grave problems in the city. Watch this.
Would you ever consider rejoining the GOP?
The party that's the most important for me is the American Party. I'm a part of the American Party. I love this country. This is the home of the free, the land of the brave.
So Eric Adams there, who has taken the side, to your point, Charlie, of Donald Trump, or at least tilted in the direction of Donald Trump when it comes to illegal immigration. They're even leaving the door open to a return to the Republican Party.
Yeah, now that the bills are coming due, he's like, wait a minute, maybe this wasn't such a great idea. But
also, don't forget, Mayor Eric Adams was the subject, I think, of the weaponization that we were just talking about. You said he was for sanctuary cities. He saw the effects on his city. He was listening to the feedback coming from the Bronx and Queens and people saying, this is horrible. Our crime is up. We can't walk the streets. There's, illegal businesses on the sidewalk. The place looks like crap. And so he started to respond to it and draw attention to what was happening at the border. and all of a sudden he had a big investigation on him. And so Donald Trump famously at the Catholic event here in New York City just before the election, sort of reaching out and saying, hey, I know what that feels like. This government can be weaponized. And I think that's why he's losing his thrill with the Democrat Party.
I'm still reporting from just outside the citadel of world freedom. Good day.